Well, hello there, and welcome to this episode of The Terri Cole Show. I'm so happy that you are here in today's episode. And this is really in honor of Mental Health Awareness Month, which basically all my content could be Mental Health Awareness Month every month in Terri Cole's life. But we're going to be talking about displaced aggression. That's what I wanted to cover on this episode because we see it everywhere. And it's something that it's really important to understand if we're doing it. So in this episode, I'm going to be breaking down what is displaced aggression, how to know if you are displacing your own aggression, and what to do instead that is healthier and better and more productive. Okay, so before we get into it, if you happen to be new here, my name is Terri Cole. I'm a licensed psychotherapist, a relationship expert, and the author of Boundary Boss, the Boundary Boss Workbook, and Too Much, a guide to breaking the cycle of high-functioning codependency, and you can get that at hfcbook.com. Yeah, still available everywhere. You guys, most of you watching this video on YouTube, well, hello. I see you every single week. And 69% of those that I see every single week are not subscribed. Why? Why not? It's free. It doesn't cost you anything, and it helps me. So I'm going to wait. I want you to go hit the subscribe button right now. Okay. I'm waiting. Okay, great. Well, now we're all on the same page, right? Because here's the thing. The best way to support my work, and so much of the work I do is free, is you subscribing, and it basically lets the algorithm know how many people are actually watching, which is way more than are subscribed. So please do it. Also, when you hit the bell icon, you're going to then get notified every time I roll out something new, which is every Tuesday and every Thursday. And you're the people I do it for. So I really want you to be notified when I'm doing new things because I'm literally creating this content specifically for you, my friend. All right, so thanks for being here. Let's move it on into today's episode. So from the top, what is displaced aggression? Also sometimes referred to as displaced anger. So according to the American Psychological Association, it's the direction of hostility away from the source of frustration or anger and toward either the self or a different entity. Right? Displaced aggression may occur, for example, when circumstances preclude direct confrontation with the responsible entity, right? So you could be mad at the government and taking it out on someone else because it is perceived either too powerful to attack without fear or reprisal. Example, you're angry at your boss, but you come home and take your anger out on your wife or your kid, or you road rage it up in traffic, right? Something like that. You can also have displaced aggression towards inanimate objects. And I have to be honest and say, I do believe that's a bit more of a male thing than a female thing. Could be wrong, but I doubt it because I've been doing this a long time. And I've never seen one of my friends like kick a hose that's twisted up or whatever, but I have seen my husband. So, and I know it's not just me. It's how we deal with our frustration has something to do with it as well. And maybe you have thrown something, an inanimate object, so frustrated, you've thrown it or you've broken it or whatever. I feel like for me, the reason I was interested in, it piqued my interest on talking about displaced aggression is I see it becoming more prevalent, right? The worse things get around the world, we have all of this unrest and all of this political divisiveness and all of these things that are happening everywhere. It's not just here. And fires and floods and tsunamis and, all of this life-threatening stuff as well as then basically the pandemic was a plague. I mean, these are things that really, really impact our mental health, our central nervous systems, the way that we go through the world is heavily impacted by what we've experienced. And so now more than ever, I thought it would be helpful to bring attention to the ways that we could be displacing our aggression and what we can do instead. Because from a therapeutic point of view, I've always held this position, and I really think it's true, that when it comes to our feelings and problems and issues, that we can only talk them out or act them out. And I feel like with displaced aggression, what we're doing is we're acting things out. And if you look at social media, right, there's There is this divisiveness that I referred to before, very much of an us versus them culture that sort of otherizes, right? It's either you're with me or you're against me is the vibe, and especially how the political world, because of just everything that's actually happening in the political world, how it was divisive long before right now, but this is bad. Like it's really brutal what is happening societally, especially in the US. There's also the cancel culture and the mob mentality that we've been dealing with for a long time. It's been years now of people being canceled and of, social media creates sort of the perfect storm for that mob mentality. I've just observed this for so many years, and I'm sure you guys have too, where you have these keyboard warriors, as they're sometimes referred to. A lot of times they're online trolls, in my opinion, but you have people who have what I would refer to as cyber balls, meaning they would literally never say the they say online to anybody's face. The internet has become like the evening the playing field to a degree of the people who actually do things and work and contribute to the world to try to make it a better place, and then the people who just sit back and criticize. They don't like what's happening, but you're not doing anything positive to change it either. It's important that we sort of get into, like, why are we doing what we're doing, and being aware yourself of how reactive are you? How quick are you to cancel people? How quick are you to jump on a bandwagon of being absolutely positive that someone is guilty of something when they may not be, right? In the social media, world. From a psychological and therapeutic perspective, right? People need an outlet for their anger. And there is a lot to be angry about. I'm not saying that there's not, but displacing it onto others and discharging it by being mean to a waitress is like not the way, right? It's not going to help us. But I do think we have to think about ourselves. What are we doing? What am I doing? How am I a part of the problem or a part of the solution? And I think slowing down before we're jumping on whatever the bandwagon can be helpful. But the truth is that the only way that stuff like social media is going to be any healthier, or society is going to be any healthier, it starts with us being healthier, right? Where does mental wellness start? At home. It starts for us. And yes, it would be great if societally we were supported with programs and money going towards all of that and making it really evening the playing field so that good mental health resources are available to everyone, which we know isn't true, which is why I have a YouTube channel with almost 700 free videos on it, why I have a free podcast that I've almost never advertised within, right? So you guys get to advertisement free, listen to the pod without being tortured every 5 seconds with ads. But that's me doing my part to try to even the playing field, because I don't think that it should only be people of means, people who have money, that should have good mental health. Like, I feel like it is a birthright for all of us. And I definitely feel like over, my career, I've been doing this 27 years, I'm certainly doing my share, at least trying to do my share. And hopefully you guys are finding it helpful. But we all have to participate in making this world a better place than it is right now. And one of the most powerful things that we can do is handle our mental health, is look inward, is be like, okay, how can I be more peaceful? Even though there is a lot of stuff to be angry about. And let's add another layer of complication for any of you who identify as being a high-functioning codependent. As HFCs, we often feel the weight of the world on our shoulders, right? That we feel responsible for fixing everything. And so when the world is in unrest, the way that it's been, it's even more taxing. And this can lead to massive burnout, exhaustion, and of course, displaced aggression too. If you guys have read the book too much, you know that, there's a cycle that HFCs go through where we give too many Fs over here, right? Caring too much, too many people, overgiving, overfunctioning, overfeeling. And then the pendulum will swing all the way the other way to where we're so mad that we can't control the things we want to control, that you can feel like you have no Fs to give left. right? So we don't want to be on either side of that pendulum, but just understand that being an empath, being a highly sensitive person, this also complicates the plight of being an HFC in a world where it is super, super tempting to displace aggression all the time. If you tap into the zeitgeist of this communal vibe, there's so much anger out there, which is why we have to protect ourselves and protect our energy, but we also have to really manage our own anger. So what's wrong with displaced anger or displaced aggression? Like what's wrong with it? Well, when you displace anger in a relationship, it erodes the trust in the relationship. Think about it. When someone comes to you and like gets all pissed about something that you weren't even talking about or whatever, and then they reveal later, oh, they had a bad meeting with their boss. So you realize they're really displacing their aggression at their boss on you. It doesn't feel good, right? And the sheer nature of displaced aggression means ineffective, disordered communication boundaries. It is inherent in the experience. If I'm yelling at you, but I'm really mad at my boss, this is, yes, displacement, but it's also having dysfunctional boundaries. Another part of the problem with displaced aggression is that then the source of the anger is going unaddressed, right? So your feeling of anger never gets sort of completed or satisfied because you're actually taking it out on the wrong person. And also, what happens when people are erratic like this or explosive like this? People walk on eggshells around you if you're the person, or you find yourself walking on eggshells around someone else, which again, all displaced aggression creates emotionally untrustworthy situations and people, right? You can't feel safe. You can't let your guard down around someone who is likely to displace their aggression on the world on you, right? And I also see this politically with there's so much anger out there. And, there's a lot of people I know who are the angriest people politically, and they're the people who are the most disappointed in the way that their lives turned out. And it just like fuels their hate for other groups. Why should I help someone else when I had to pull myself up by my bootstrap, like, rather than wanting to help your fellow man? It's being like, my life is shit, so I hope your life is shit too. And when my thought about those people is that your job is to make your life not right. Your job is to figure out what is making you unhappy. Do something about that. And you putting your boot on the neck of a different marginalized group is not going to fix your misery. It just isn't. So my tolerance for it is pretty low, I gotta say. I don't have a lot of people in my life who are displacing their bullshit aggression. Definitely not on me, for sure. But even on the world, I don't want to be around it. I'm not interested because it just feels like such irresponsibility when I see it, Anyway, when we displace aggression, it makes people afraid of us, if we're the ones who are doing it. Because walking on eggshells just sucks. No matter who, whether you're the one walking on eggshells or whether you're the one that people are walking on eggshells around you, it's really depressing. And listen, not judgment, all of us are going to displace aggression or anger at one point or another, right? So most of us were not taught how to honor our anger healthily or properly. So listen, sounds like I'm judging. I'm really not. But I do know that there are things that we can do. So what can we do instead? Let's move into some solutions. First, you got to get honest with yourself. If what I was describing, the person who's angry at the government, and so now you're hating on marginalized groups, if you see yourself there, is displacing your aggression in that way? Is that making you feel better? Maybe temporarily, but in the long run, it doesn't work. So really be honest with yourself. Are you taking your anger out on undeserving people or things? And I think a lot of times people will say, I take it out on my partner the most, but, because they're the one that I can. But I want you to really know that taking it out on your partner, there's a cost to doing that for your relationship, that slowly but surely scratches away at the foundation of the relationship. That's not a winning formula to me, but recognizing it is the first step to changing it. And then we have to find healthy outlets for our anger, like journaling or exercising, right? Move your ass, jump on a trampoline like I do, After I got diagnosed with cancer in my early 30s, I took up boxing. Just pounding the crap out of something felt great because I was so mad about the diagnosis. So there are tons of things that you can do that will help you get the anger out of your body. And then we have to really figure out what is in your control and what is out of your control. If you're angry about political or global issues, climate change, right? Scale it down. Focus on local stuff, personal initiatives. What are things that you can actually do? I'm worried about political stuff. I got an app called 5 Calls. And I every day call representatives and tell them what I'm concerned about. And I leave a full message. And if there's a machine, you leave a full message and you leave, I'm a constituent and this is my town and this is my address. There are things that you can be doing that are productive, that can make you feel better. I mean, the best thing when we can do it, if it's possible, is to address the actual origin of the source of anger. Right? If it's a relationship at work, figure out how to deal with it, right? Learn effective communication skills and learn how to talk true. And I have a million videos on how to do it, and I've written about it in both of my books. But that's something that you can do, is become a better communicator and stop silently suffering and stop stuffing down, because it eventually comes out. It just comes out sideways. So no one knows why you're mad, and you don't even know why you're mad half the time. So we really need to get clear. And I think that you might need to set internal boundaries, right? Like consume less news. I never watch the news. Oh my God. And I've unfollowed so many things on social media because it is so jarring for me. Consume your news in a different way. Delete apps and off your phone that if it's too much, if it's overwhelming, if it creates feelings of being overwhelmed or being overwhelmingly angry, right? Just because you see something mean or see something that you don't like doesn't mean you have to engage. And if there are certain accounts that you follow that make you feel like unfollow them and look for. I am always on the look for, and I'll put some in the guide for this episode, terricole.com/guide, some of the good news or the positive accounts that I follow. And I also follow I love animals and I love dogs. And so I follow a lot of dog accounts. So if you don't love dogs, you wouldn't love all those accounts. But things that just make me laugh, make me smile, bring a smile to my face, make me feel like the world is still good. There are still good people out there. So I'm endlessly searching for. There's like 4 that I follow that I really like. So I'll share those with you guys in the guide. And then you need to check your own basic health, right? Check the basics. What are they? Are you getting enough sleep? Right? Let's start there. Are you hydrating? Right? Are you eating well? Taking proper care of yourself? Right? If you're taking care of yourself, if you're not sleeping enough, all of that contributes to not having the discipline of handling your anger well. Right? We get lazy because we're exhausted, because we're burnt out. So move your ass, drink your water, get some sleep, eat to the best of your ability, eat healthy foods, eat whole foods to the best of your ability. And all of this is to the best of your ability, but we can pretty much all do it better, including me, right? And see if you can find any compassion in your heart or empathy for other people, even people you don't understand, right? We all have kids, or we all have parents, or we all have siblings, or we all have friends. We might not all have all of those things, but we have some of those things. So in one way, we're more alike than we're not. So finding compassion, and find compassion for ourselves, self-protection and self-consideration is one of the biggest actions you can take that indicate self-compassion and self-care, is really protecting yourself, right? We're all just out here trying to survive. This is not easy, and sometimes it can help to just remember that even if we disagree, that we're all connected in this world. We are all living in this unified field together. So if you could use a soft place to land in a hard world, a place where there's lots of room for nuance, lots of room for understanding, and for guidance, for compassionate witnessing, for just being, ideas of how to do it better, but also ideas of how to self-accept, I invite you to join the Terri Cole membership. Go to terricole.com/TCM, because we're always talking about these things, you guys. We're always thinking of ways that we can live better, being empaths and HFCs in a hard world. And I would love to see you on the inside of the membership. I hope that this episode added value to your life. I hope that you are not displacing your aggression all over town, and that if you are, that this episode will help you do something better. Don't forget to go and get the guide, terricole.com/guide. I hope you have the most amazing week. And as always, take care of you.